In 1906, this word suffragette, which
What does she want it to like?
is a fraught term, was created by a journalist for a well-known UK publication. Or shall I say tabloid? And she says the name of this notorious publication, which still exists, but I'm not going to elevate them by mentioning it here.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Leilani Barbados. I am going to make this video quite short because I have another video coming out that I want you to look at. So I don't want to waste too much time on this. This is a review of Meghan Markle's podcast, The Audacity of the Activist. Just to make a long story short, she is equating the word activist with feminist, which she says is the same as the F word. The F word being So the first few podcasts were about very negative words like diva, B word, angry, black woman word. And now she's bringing this word activist, which is really not a negative word. I'm going to reiterate again. Meghan Markle is here just trying to make us know that her bad behavior is sanctioned, okay? It's sanctioned by women who are just like her, who she's saying, well, I don't know what she's saying. Let's find out, okay? So Meghan Markle is trying to be an activist. She's trying to be a philanthropist. She's trying to be a good doer. I don't want you to think that I am unimpressed. I come from a Caribbean country, Barbados, and in the Caribbean basin, there are so many beautiful, wonderful ladies, dames, prime ministers, acting prime ministers, governor generals, and so on throughout our history. They have been so amazing to listen to. I'm not going to lie, I was brought to tears by hearing these women speak. And so I started to think about, why did I think that they were so amazing to listen to? Well, because they talked about facts. They had no script. They had no speech. They had no teleprompter. They were just talking and telling us about how good we are in the Caribbean. And it made me emotional. And it still does, to be honest. Who in the actual frozen hell is listening to Meghan Markle and saying, yes, she's inspired me. Oh, I've been brought to tears. No one, okay? She's fighting a war against an invisible enemy. Shout out to Vietnam. You're in the Western world. Like, nobody's stoning you. Although in this podcast, she does bring in the Iranian political movement, trying to equate it somehow with her. Meghan, you have no voice in Iran. Did you know that? You have no voice in Iran? And stop talking about suffrage and women's suffrage and stop talking about the 70s and the 60s. Like, we're literally in 2022. Do you know that? It's very interesting because if she was in social media, which she says she wants to get back into because she hasn't been in it. If she was really in social media, they would have canceled her already. But also, if you are so profound public figure, why would you have to fire Sunshine Sachs and then also have Omid Scobie as your mouthpiece? Say, has anyone ever seen the two of them together in the same room, Omid and Meghan? Because I'm starting to think it's the same person. And they do be looking alike. Or at the very least, she has control over his Twitter account. You married Prince Harry and still nobody is supporting you. I said a long time ago, and Lady Colin Campbell actually quoted me in this and said this would be a very good idea for Meghan to have a finishing school. To say, I went into the royal family and I know how to do the best high tea setting. I know how to lay a table, honey. I know how to cross my legs, honey. I know how to do all these things. If you're a good businesswoman, on top of that, you could say, do you remember Mary Kay? Does anyone remember Mary Kay? I'm not going to sell out my mom. Okay, I am. So Mary Kay was about, women need to know how to put on makeup and they need to know all the shades and the thing and they need to know how to take care of their skin and so on and so forth. And then you have to get all these subscribers or you have to get these pyramid scheme underlings to then also sell it. So you end up just selling to people instead of actually teaching people how to do makeup. And then you end up getting just like a daughter like me, just doing scrubs, and you have these suitcases, these huge suitcases of product, having this 11-year-old daughter just you don't get the pink Cadillac. But there's also this woman called Sarah Jane in China, and as you know, China has a lot of women who have a lot of money and they're obsessed with learning Western ways. So they want somebody to teach them Western ways, saying, I want to learn how to use this velour and bosch. I want to learn how to cut a banana with a knife and fork. And she's capitalizing on that without doing the whole pyramid scheme thing. And you could also get a crypto account. Meghan's finishing school to the moon. I mean, you can do all these things, but no, she really just wants attention. And I honestly feel that the sickest part about her personality is that she wants attention to upset people, to annoy people, right? So let's get into the podcast itself. She talks about how if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. And then when she heard that, she thought, that makes sense. Meghan, why can't you think of these things yourself? I think that goes without saying. For me, it goes without saying. I stand for something. I believe in something. I don't have to worry about falling. But that, it's always these cliche quotes that have motivated her in life that she didn't think of herself because she's not very clever. She talks about some tabloid in the UK talking about suffragette, like, I don't know, back in like 1800s. I really don't even know what she's talking about, but anyway, it's very disconnected, just like most of her podcasts. And then she brings in this loser feminist comedian, Elena Glazer or whatever. Girls, I don't know. Jameela Jamil comes in and I haven't actually looked at what she looks like. A bitch has my hairstyle though. A bitch has my hairstyle. Anyway, it's okay. Jameela Jamil, she talks about a broken childhood. She looks very much like Priyanka Chopra, which will be featured in my next video. So not to worry. The problem with her, apparently, is that Meghan Markle doxes her as a liar.
People have picked apart her words. They've accused her of lying about all kinds of things. I mean, even her own health history. And even if there's absolutely nothing behind it, claims like that can take on a life of their own on social media.
Meghan, in her mind, is trying to justify that this woman is a beautiful woman who was slated for being a liar, and Meghan herself has also been slated for having a lying problem. So she's trying to normalize that by bringing on these guests. As she has used the dumb bitch, the dumb blonde, the bitch, the angry black woman, the diva. But when you really think about it, imagine you have to get 10, 12, 14 guests to justify your one personality. Think about it. Like, get out of here, though. Get out of here. You're not supposed to be here. Ain't nobody have time for you to be here and listen to you. Okay, basically, Jameela Jamil says she suffered from anorexia nervosa and she thought that she should speak to the diet culture and this and that. And yeah, nobody wanted to hear her talk about anything after that. So Jameela ended up failing in her activism due to these conversations that she was having that had nothing to do with her and she had no expertise with. And that's the end of that, her career. So Jameela and Meghan get in this crazy discussion about how Mother Earth...
There's a theory that the reason that we treat the earth like such is because we consider it Mother Earth, Mother Nature. Like, if we considered it the authoritative patriarch figure, would we be drilling it? But there's something so poetic about the way that we just drill into the earth. We take her resources, and we expect her to never fight back and to just continue to give and give and give and tolerate endless abuse and endless withdrawals with not enough deposits. Like, that's exactly how we treat women. There's something so...
Okay, so no, it really...
These are two absolutely insane people talking now. And I'm just like, I've already checked out once Meghan Markle said that she's a liar. But at the same time, I have to do it for you because I love you. And I do listen to this podcast only for you. But like, I just heard this crazy rant about Mother Earth being a mother. And that's why she's being disrespected. And that's why people are using plastic. I can't. This is only halfway through the podcast. Okay, let me get myself together. Okay, so at some point somebody makes this profound statement.
Injustice makes me feel physically sick because it doesn't make sense. It's not fair.
Okay. Injustice is unfair. So this completely computer warrior who thinks that she put a stop to flat tummy tea and diet culture.
I mean, we have made such a huge noise about diet culture that at the beginning of 2018, it was very mainstream for celebrities to sell detox and diet products. And now you almost never see that happening because I think people are so afraid that I'm going to come after them. But we made it uncool. We made this thing that was being normalized, hugely stigmatized and hugely uncool.
Which, no, she hasn't. By the way, Instagram models are getting paid $20,000 to $30,000 to promote diet products still. So I don't know why she thinks that she put a dent in their careers, because she did not. Okay, part 2 of this is with Shohreh, who was in Star Trek movies. She has a very...
Hello. Hello. I am so genuinely so grateful that you're joining me on this. I'm a huge fan of your work, obviously on screen, but also off screen, and your activism.
Oh, thank you so much. And ever since I've gotten to know you, I've always admired you for your courage, your love for humanity.
Thank you. Shohreh Aghdasgloo.
Ventilator, smoked 100 cigarettes before she did this recording. Anyway, she's a feminist, she's an activist, she's doing her Iran thing. We all know, we watch that on the news. A lot of women have been speaking out against the atrocities that are happening in Iran towards women. I do think it's very tricky bringing up the Iran protesters and the atrocities in Iran. It is very tricky for Meghan to do that because it has nothing to do with the Western world, and it has nothing to do with anything she's done. And as I said before, what is she doing though? Like, does anyone know? Because I don't know what she's doing. And that's fine. She doesn't have to do anything. Like I said, she could be a finishing school headmistress. She could be a fashionista. Just get somebody to tell you what to wear. There are lots of public figures that have done that and just... Anyway, after Shohreh says all this it's quite disturbing, the stuff that is going on in Iran.
I would have not left Barbados Square. I would have had take some painkillers and would go back to the square.
And, you know, the algorithm of YouTube, we know what's going on. And after she says all this stuff, Meghan Markle just says,
Wow.
Until we will be able to bring back democracy to Iran.
You already know that Meghan Markle checked out of that conversation. She don't care. There have been articles talking about the fact that Meghan Markle did not even interview a lot of her guests on this podcast. Other people did it, and then she put in her sound bites or her voiceovers to pretend like she was the interviewer. I think she's lazy. I think she's very lazy. Meghan Markle says that feminism is akin to the F word, which is fuck.
Feminism, for example, often treated as taboo as the F word.
Literally said no one ever. And of course she ends with this really profound statement.
It reminded me of a message that was shared with me just a few days before my wedding by a very, very influential and inspiring woman who, for her own privacy, I won't share who it was with you, but she said to me, I know that your life is changing, but please don't give up your activism. Don't give up, because it means so much to women and girls.
And this was said by a very anonymous private person that does not want to be associated with her because Meghan Markle's crazy and toxic and ruins everyone's careers if you are associated with her. Don't hold us in suspense. Who is it? If it was Gloria Steinem, which I kind of comes first to my mind, Gloria Steinem again, which is her go-to friend, Glow. You remember Glow from the last podcast? Okay. But who is it? She has such a problem calling out names, even with the racism in the royal family. That was my biggest issue, is that she's not calling names. Call the names. You have the opportunity to call the names. You also have the opportunity to tell your story, which a lot of people do not. So just do it thoroughly, please. And thank you. And thank you all so much for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to press the bell notifications and the subscribe button, because I have this other video that I really want you to see coming out, or 2 other videos. I try to interact with you in the comments. Please drop comments telling me what you think about these podcasts. Share my videos with whoever you want to on any platform, Facebook, Twitter, anything you want to. Thank you. I love you.
What if the world can change me? What if the world can make me whole inside?